Alright, what's going on, guys? Gdoggcasey here, and welcome to the first episode of a new series I'm going to be starting here. This game is called Flinthook. It is published by, or developed, by Tribute Games, and it is an incredibly fun game. I did take some time yesterday to sort of play around and practice and get the gist of how to play. So for other people who are starting their Let's Plays by just like jumping into it, I have a bit of a heads up on them because, you know, I have a bit of practice before starting recording. But that said, they got their videos out quicker, so I'm starting from a bit behind in that aspect, but that's okay, because Flinthook is an amazingly fun game, and I really think it'll fit well on a channel. So let's go ahead and start playing. So this is as far as I've got. Level 10, delete it. Level 3, delete it. We're going to go ahead and jump into a new game, and I'm going to show you guys the first sort of parts of this game and explain things, and hopefully get you guys to like it. Right now it's $16.99 on Steam, so if you're interested in picking it up, that's how much I got it for. And it's worth every penny, I think. So this game, it's kind of hard to explain. It's sort of like a roguelite, but it's not exactly, but it has roguelite elements for sure. It's definitely more of just a platformer, and like, I don't know, you can hook around like this using a grappling hook. So that's part of platforming, I guess. I was gonna say it's like a platformer and like a grappler, but more just a platformer, obviously. And you do get a weapon, which we're going to be getting very soon here. But you can see here, the game feels incredibly fluid, and it's something that doesn't really come across in a video. I mean, I first heard of this game from watching Northern Lion play it, and I was like, oh, that looks really cool. And he mentioned that it feels really good to like hook around like this, but you can't really feel it unless you're actually playing it yourself, and it does feel incredibly good. The music is really good as well. The controls are incredibly responsive. And there's a whole bunch of other pluses about this game as well that we'll discover as we go on. So right now we're sort of going through the tutorial here. We get our blaster pistol or whatever. Taking damage already. So you have a limited range on your gun. So it forces you to get closer to the enemies than you might actually want to. But it creates some interesting challenges. So here's just like a little, you know, look what you can do. And again, you're using the right trigger to hook around. It feels really good. You aim with your left stick. You can see the little cursor. Oh, you can see the reticle there, and you can aim basically in any direction and use the right trigger to grapple. Sorry. Now these things you can't go through. You bounce off them unless you slow down time using left trigger, and you can only do so for a limited amount of time. You can see the little bar below your character here. And that allows you to slow down time and get through those specific sections. You can wall jump as well, which again feels incredibly responsive and very good. And on a game like this, I mean, the controls have to feel responsive, right? Otherwise, like, that's where all the fun, what all the fun relies on. Now there's also, they call them sub-weapons. They're basically like spacebar items from Isaac that you can use, but using them typically consumes them. So at least I think every item I've picked up so far, it consumes it when you use it. You'll see things that are encased by bubbles like this. You can actually pop the bubble by hooking it, as the tutorial states. And now we have what, in Northern Lion's videos, he called them challenge rooms, and I suppose, like, it's a pretty good name for them. I don't really know what else you would call them. So I'm just going to call them challenge rooms until otherwise stated. But essentially, enemies will spawn in different locations of the room, and you got to use your grappling skills to take them out. And usually when you complete a challenge room, you get a chest that will contain an apple or two that will heal you up and give you some more money. One of the things I'm not exactly sure about, as we get the sort of end cutscene of the tutorial, is the money that you... There's different types of currencies in this game, and I'm still trying to work out, you know, what they all do. One of them seems like it's more run-specific, like these skulls I have, 121 in the bottom. They seem to be more run-specific than anything else. This is our trusty goo compass. Feed enough ghost gems to this little guy and it will guide you to your bounty in no time. And speaking of bounty, we have a bounty right here. So we mash the bounty, and we can see now we have Bad Billy Bullseye. The reward is 3,000 skulls for killing him. He's the unblinking leader of the Hardhorn clan, and he is basically the first boss of the game. And as we leave the tutorial, will be transferred to the game proper, and we'll have a little bit more of an understanding of how the game actually plays. Because in that sort of tutorial, you'll see it's very similar to that core loop of the game that involves you going to a ship and infiltrating it, and moving from room to room, collecting as much loot as you can, killing all the enemies, and then getting to the boss, killing the boss, and then going to the next ship. You have a persistent level up mechanic as well, which is pretty interesting, but early on we're not going to get to see much of that. So pretty much all we can do is move on to the first bounty. Now this part kind of confused me at first. It took me a little while to wrap my head around exactly the structure of how the game is supposed to be played. Essentially, we have all these different levels here. Now, it doesn't seem like there's actually that many right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I'd be hard-pressed to say that I can complete all of them off the bat without improving some, because even this one gets relatively tough. So here's the thing. You see the 3 skulls beside his name, or underneath his photo there? That means that we need to get 3 ghost gems in order to complete it. So we'll go ahead and select it. And I guess before we can explain more, we'll have to talk about the perk system, which allows you to sort of equip your guy with perks for the next run. And early on, we don't really have a lot of options. We have things that cost 1 perk slot and things that cost 2 perk slots. We have one that gives us a better chance of getting critical hits, one that gives us more experience gain, so I'm definitely going to take that. And we can either increase our HP by 10, or we can have a chance to get an extra apple each time we board a ship, which will heal us. And I'm actually going to go with the healing one, because over the course of a run, I'll get more than the 10 hit points that I add to my maximum. So it just seems like a better plan, in my opinion. So there we go. We're all set up. We're going to start the first run. And like I said, there's 3 ghost gems you got to get. So essentially, you have to go through 3 levels. 1 to get the first gem, 1 to get the second gem, 1 to get the third gem. And then after you've gotten all the gems, you fight the boss. But if you die at any point during this run, you have to start the run over from the beginning and get all 3 ghost gems again. So picture it, like if you want to compare it to Isaac, it's like starting an Isaac run, and you can pick whatever floor you go to next. So these floors all have different things. This one says multi-branch, this one has platoon on board. You know what, I don't know what platoon on board means, so I'm going to select one of those levels and maybe we can learn. Gives you a bit of an idea of like what to expect on the next run, or the next ship, they call them in this game. So we got to get 3 ghost gems. We basically have to defeat 3 ships, and we have to do it all in a row without dying. And your health is actually persistent through between the ships as well. So, oh, I was supposed to hook the bubble, and I hooked the doorway instead. Okay, here we go. So you can sort of get the gist of how the rooms are structured. This one is more of like a platforming sort of trap room, and it's, you know, you got to use your platforming skills to navigate it as opposed to your shooting skills to kill the enemies. And we can just do it like this. There we go, and we get the treasure. It looks like we got, what is this? Gain more firepower following a strong combo chain. Okay, so that is another interesting part of this game. It's not a persistent upgrade, like we're always gonna have this combo bonus now, but for the rest of this run, we will have that bonus. If it's a bit confusing, don't worry too much about it. It'll start to make sense the more we get through here. So this one isn't necessarily a challenge room. We can ignore the enemies if we want, but they drop loot. And we might find a good use for these coins throughout our run here. So once again, not a challenge room, just a room with enemies in it, but I like to fight the enemies. It's got a really nice feel to it. Like, it feels like maybe a bit of an old school platformer, but just like top tier polish. And it's a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoy watching it. And like I said, if you think you can give it a try, or you think you might be better than me at the game, then definitely give it a try, because it's like when you're just hooking from hook to hook, it feels really good. Okay. Yeah, so these typically, like, sometimes they will switch like this on their own. They'll alternate places. Other times you need to hit a switch in order to do that. You've already seen me hit switches to do that. That was an instance of it just happening automatically. Alright, so now this is a challenge room. So we do have to fight all the enemies here. There's no time limit, so you can take your time. You don't need to feel like you have to rush your way to killing these guys, but there might be some sort of, like, benefit to rushing through. I'm actually not incredibly sure. That enemy's a little bit tough for early on. You'll even notice turrets will spawn to make the challenge room harder. If you see anything that's got shields like that, okay, if they're purple shields, your hook will not work, as evidenced by it not working right now. I'm taking damage that I shouldn't be. Those shields are provided by these like wizard type enemies, and you need to kill all the wizards in the room. Sorry about the dog there. You gotta kill all the wizards in the room in order to get rid of the shields, as you see. And then once you get rid of the shields, the enemies are pretty easy to kill. Early on, the game will make you think that it's easy. But even completing the first bounty is pretty tough. And we're going to see if we can do it on the first try here. I have defeated the first bounty twice on 2 other save files, so I do have that experience. But I've never gone past the first bounty. And we'll see. And I mean, you know, it's likely that I won't kill the first bounty in this video as well, because unless things go perfectly well for us, you know, it gets difficult. Alright, so we got another challenge room here. There's a lot of different enemy types too, and it's awesome to see how they work out with the different room types. Because you'll have some enemies that seem normally like pretty easy to kill, like these guys, but then you might get a room where the enemies are placed in like a really tricky manner, and you might have trouble actually getting to them. I need to stop taking like stupid damage like that though, because it seems like 100 hit points is a lot to start with, but if you're dumb like I'm being right now, you can chew through it pretty quickly. Luckily, whenever you complete a challenge room, you usually have a good chance of getting some apples to heal up. So you're given the opportunity to heal as long as you play well. Alright, another challenge room here. So just kill any enemies that we can that are, you know, within our reach. You can aim your shot as well while you're standing, but at the beginning, in your first ever mission, you have to do it without a certain tool that you earn the first time you die, or the first time you beat the first mission. So if we die or if we beat the bounty here on this first attempt, we'll be given an item that will make our life much easier in our following runs, and I'll talk about that when we get to it, but for now, we don't have it. So that was the boss room that we just completed. So this is the way out of this first step of the bounty. We could go back and, you know, search the other rooms, and maybe for this one we will, because we have a decent amount of hit points right now. It looks like we healed up to 80, so why don't we explore a little bit, because we might find some good shit. And kind of the whole point of the game is that you're a pirate, right? So you're, well, like a pirate thief, and it's all about finding that loot. So we'll find different types of loot in all the different rooms as well. Shit, that was stupid. So you can see the map up in the top right. We're just using that map to determine where we need to go. And try to avoid all the different traps, pick up whatever coins we can. And here we find a shop. So we can buy a shield, which gives us an extra hit without losing hit points. And the space meat would heal us, but that's a lot for healing us by 20. I'm not actually going to do that right now. So in those shops, you will use the coins you find within the level. Oh, well, we lost our shield already. To my knowledge, the coins don't carry over to the next raid or to the next bounty, but I don't actually fully understand that yet. Okay, so these are like buffs that will help us for the current bounty, but not for, you know, the grand scheme of things. Gives more speed to your trusty plasma pistol. TikTok. Extends your slow motion gauge. Okay, cool. So we can go slow motion for a little bit longer now. Again, that's only going to last for this bounty. So basically until we either kill the boss or until we die. But I'm not exactly sure what else to spend your coins on that you get, you know, throughout the run. So as far as I know, there's no real benefit to saving them. Unless there's just a certain mechanic that I misunderstand, which hopefully we'll understand as we go. So we found a space shell, we break it open, we get one of our ghost gems. Our goo compass will eat it. So I guess the goo compass like needs to He's fueled on ghost gems, and when he eats 3 of them, all of a sudden he can point to the direction of where the boss is. So here we go, we're going to the next... I almost called it the next floor. Essentially, that is what it is. And like I said, you can actually choose which one you want to go with. And the skull number that you see on the bottom of the Polaroid there, I think indicates the difficulty and also the increase of rewards. So we're gonna stick with a 2 skull, and we're gonna go to Librarius, so we have a chance to find a book in here, which will help us with some of the lore of the game and stuff like that. So, you know, it's not that I'm not saying I don't care about the lore, but the game has this interesting way of making you want to collect all the collectibles in the game. Because the core gameplay loop is so much fun that you look for more reasons to do it. You know, so that's why collectible games are so addicting, because, you know, if they're done well, they make you want to play the game and go collect everything. That's part of the fun. Alright, we found another shop here. We don't need another shield. I mean, we can get one. What is this? Pirate's Deal. Get special deals in shop for you, the Valiant Pirate. Did it lower the price? I don't know. We'll buy another shield. Like I said, for now I'm just spending all my coins because I don't really see a reason to save them. So we're gonna try to navigate here. There we go. And once you get good at using the grappling hook, the game just feels really fun. Alright, so we got a challenge room here. Gonna be relatively easy early on. You can shoot through the slow motion barriers, so don't be afraid to give that tactic a try. And here we go. Next floor, or next room. Yeah, so one of the problems I have is is avoiding the turrets. You'll find some rooms that just have ridiculous turret placement, and it's really tough to navigate, so hopefully you'll get a chance to see some of that eventually. So this room has turrets as well. Alright. Pretty simple stuff here. I like these rooms too that like just focus on traps, but minus loot. Find greater amounts of gold. Sounds good. Oops, that was stupid. Basically just jumped right on it. It's a cool concept, you know? There's no enemies, but the room is extra hard to navigate through, and at the end there's treasure, so you go get the treasure. So we found our library here. We got this book. Rip a page from it. Captain Tusky Grimble added to your lore collection. So we'll check that out a little bit later. Books are filled with knowledge and lore about the cosmos. They also taste great. Yeah, that's true. He is eating that book. That's actually another thing I haven't touched on really yet. Now, I don't have the most experience in the game yet, but out of everything in the first bounty just reeks of really good character design as well. Like, in terms of their aesthetic and their looks and stuff. It's very silly, but and really funny, but really well done. Okay, down we go in here. That's not what I meant to do. Well, we only have one way to go here, so we'll slow down. We'll grapple on over. Alright, here we go, challenge room. Like I said, eventually we're gonna have an item that's gonna give us much better aim while we're standing still. And I think my performance is gonna increase because during my test run, I learned to rely on that very heavily. So here's a new enemy type. It's kind of like a wizard dude. He shoots out 3 fireballs that can go through the terrain. So you just have to always realize he's gonna be throwing 3. Okay, down we go. I think we're probably getting pretty close to the end here. Well, let's go this way. Okay, this is probably the boss of this floor. It's not too tough. You just have to shoot his tail, or the red area on the back of him. You can break them off, and the more you break off, the more sort of bombs spawn and shoot in random directions. So it makes it a little harder to platform around, but as long as you're patient, should be all right. Got a nice shot off there. Try to pick up as much gold as we can, although again, I'm not exactly sure what that does. whether or not it's worth it to like go out of your way to collect a whole bunch of this type of gold, because there are other there we go, we got him, easy. There are other currency types that seem a little bit more important. Yeah, this was the boss room. Well, the mini boss room, the boss of this ship. And there's the, you know, there's the ending. So we only have one more floor. We're at full health. We're enjoying ourselves playing the game, so let's go and explore that other room over here. See what we can get. Alright, so this looks like a treasure trap room. Just have to navigate properly. You can shoot some of these breakables as well. Took damage there. And they will drop some gold for you. Ah, shit. Alright, well, whatever. We got the treasure. And we healed up. So as long as we don't lose any health, we'll be pretty good. And again, just the controls are so tight that moving this dude around. Plus, he looks pretty cool too. I don't know. He's like a pirate ghost or a thief ghost or something like that. And he looks pretty badass. All right, here we go. Just, you know, hooking from room to room just feels so damn good. All right, we'll open that. We'll get some of this. And we'll get the second space shell. So things are going pretty well for this current run. We only have one more ship to go through here. Got our second ghost shell. We're full health. I'd say we're about as prepared as we could be to move on to the final ship before the boss. Now, my plan for this series is basically just to go until either I get to the point where I just can't advance anymore. Here, you know what? We're not going to go for the 4 skull because it's actually a lot more likely that I will die there and then have to redo it. We'll go for a 3 skull though, Rumble Room Gauntlet, bump up the difficulty a little bit, and you know, hopefully still get through it. And hopefully you guys can see where the challenge comes, because so far the games look pretty easy. Part of it's because I'm making it look easy, because I do have a bit of extra practice. You know, when you watch someone who makes it look easy, and then all of a sudden you jump into it for yourself, it might be, you might find it to be a little bit more difficult, but I practiced for about 2 or 3 hours before I started recording, so it took me about that long to get to where I am right now. And we'll explore this ship here. Oh shit, okay. Alright, I think I get it. Yeah. There you go. So there's a weird sort of halt in time when you hit the thing. Okay, hold on. So I guess we do... Can I just reach it? Yeah, there you go. There you go. Nice treasure room there. Let's fling ourselves back over. Nope. One thing that is a little confusing is that you would really expect this guy to have a double jump. But he does not have a double jump. And it took me a little while to sort of get used to that, because I would actually make jumps that I should have known I wouldn't have been able to take, but I just expected that I could double jump, and you can't. So, alright, so here we go. Got a couple enemies around the place. Gotta collect as much gold as we can, taking damage like an idiot. I missed every single shot there. So if you know he's got 3 shots, you can, you know, plan your moves a little bit better. There we go. Alright, keep going. That's just a hook shield, right? Yeah, okay. Another thing that's a little confusing is that the enemies can shoot through the walls, but you can't. So that might take you a little bit of getting used to as well. Doesn't seem all that intuitive, but I mean, what are you gonna do? So that was a new enemy type there that I killed pretty quickly. He shoots homing rockets that you can shoot out of the sky, so they're not too annoying to get through, but they can surprise you from time to time. Alright, so let's grab the treasure. And we'll go on down. Alright, so we got a explosive roadrunner looking thing, and these guys drop bombs if they get directly above you, which happened right there. Speaking of bombs, I actually have a bomb that I have not even used. It's kind of a bad habit I've developed, is not using my sub-weapons when I might as well use them. So there we go, we killed one. Take his shield off. We're taking a decent amount of damage to the point where it might actually get kind of scary. It's a lot like a war of attrition in this game. Like, you'll have several rooms where you don't take any damage, but then all of a sudden, you know, you'll have a room where you get hit a few more times than you expected. And, you know, as you try to make it to the end, you realize, like, shit, I've lost more hit points than I expected, and you really look forward to getting those apples that heal you up. So I got to heal up to 50 there. And we will continue on. Now, this is the first time we're seeing a room that requires a key to get through. I have a hard time recognizing when I pick up keys, but we have one. So somewhere along the line we picked up a key. And that unlocks the door to our shop. And you know what? We will heal up here. We have tons of money, so we might as well spend it. There's really, like... Again, unless there's some sort of mechanic that saving your money actually does help you, which I'm sure eventually I'll learn. I don't think there's any harm in purchasing all the upgrades we can right now. And there we go. We already lost our shield. I have a really hard time spotting those spike balls that act as traps. Oh, shit, come on. In that case, I thought for sure that I would be low enough to not get hit, but I guess I was wrong. Here we go. Okay, so navigate through like this. Oh, come on. Again, okay. Alright, let's relax. 3 of these guys is actually pretty tough. They don't like to get close to you, so they make you move. And they're also pretty mobile as well, so they're harder to hit. We're going to take this room carefully, because we only have 45 hit points. Alright, got rid of one. Did take some damage. Try to use our hooks to the best of our ability. God. I kind of zerged my way through that and took a lot of damage. It's, you know, the victory isn't quite so clear, but that was the boss room. Okay, so when you're in a position like this, where you're low on health, you're close to the end, I'm not going to risk my life to go over there and explore the rest of the rooms. We're close to the end here. We're going to get our apple from here. And we're going to get our last ghost shell. Ghost gems. Yeah, okay, that's the ghost gem. You notice we picked up like a different type of skull currency as well. I don't really know what they're called. But there we go. Our goo compass was able to locate the scoundrel, and we're gonna go get him, and he'll never know what hit him. And that's the next step in the bounty, is now the boss fight. And I have a bit of practice with this boss fight, and I know how it works, so I'm confident that we should be able to get through it, but we are a little bit low on health, so... So here we got the last step. We got our 3 ghost gems. Now we only have one option, and that's the boss fight. Free your quick hook from slow motion by equipping the free something perk. Alright, so you get a chance to loot a little bit of gold here. We can grab this meat to heal ourselves up a bit. We're at 80 now. And also the boss drops a piece of meat at the beginning as well. Let's watch this little cutscene here. It's pretty cute. Boom. So luckily, this boss is a combination of mechanics that we are already used to. So we see, you know, we know we have to shoot the dragons on their tail. This guy's got a shield on his tail, so we hook the shield off, and then we shoot it. And there we go. Now this guy spawns 2 of these, like, starfish dudes that, without the lock on him, not the lock on, but the, I forget what they call it in the game, where you can stand still and aim your reticle much easier. Without that, they're harder to fight, but you just wait for them to stop and open up and you can kill them. And now we'll just move on to the next tail piece. Boom. And just try to get them. There we go. So that's gonna break. Oh, shit. So you don't have to be crazy with the jumping. If you want to play it safe, you can, which if I get kind of low on health, I probably will, you know, I'll just play safer. But here we go. Hook that off. And the more pieces of him we break off, the more frequently he's going to be dropping those bombs. speaking of bombs, I have one here that I could pick up, but I don't think it's going to help us too much with this boss. We've already killed the starfish dudes, so we're already on to the next section. Whoop. There we go. Got him. Oh, come on, get out of the way. There we go, got him. Those starfish are invulnerable when they're in their, like, torpedo stance. Took a bit more damage there, so hopefully we can keep that to a minimum. Alright. Got him. Once you, when you get really familiar with the grappling, it just feels really good. I know I've said that like a bunch, but it really is like, to me, the primary selling point is like how fun it is to grapple around on hooks. There we go. Alright. You don't have to kill the starfish, by the way, but I just find it way safer. I don't really see why you wouldn't. Because otherwise he'll just spawn more starfish, and then you'll have like 3 or 4 of them flying around, and it just makes it a lot harder on yourself. There's no time limit, so you might as well just take them out while you can. Alright, we have 50 hit points. I think that's good enough. Oh shit, okay, well now we have 40. Oh, okay, now we have 30. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna focus a bit here for a minute. I'd hate to not make it at this point. He's so close to dying. Oh shit. No, 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 no. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get that. Alright, there we go. And we got him. Okay. There was a slight chance that I thought I was gonna die there. And this is just adorable. Like, I almost feel bad for him. The music is really good, too. Oh, we were gonna save that person, and now we can't. So I guess that's the ultimate bad guy. We look dejected. Even though we had victory, it seems like we were still defeated. But we're gonna loot a little bit. And look at this chest. I mean, don't you just want to loot that? Boom, all the money. Okay, so this is where I want to try to figure out, like, where does this access money go to? So we have 4,246 gold down there, and I don't know where it's going to go. We also get a new bounty. Boom, the next boss. Gonna be gold feathers. We get 4,500 for killing him. So 4256, where does that go once we're done? He's cursing us as we leave after we've emptied his ship of all its loot. So we get a bunch of levels here. So this actually, you know, more to the persistent leveling system. Whether you win or you lose, you get experience and you unlock perks every time you level up. You get these little booster packs that have perks in them. So we got a few here. We're gonna level up quite a bit because of our, you know, because of the fact that we defeated him on the first try. So we're level 5, we get more items in our black market, which we don't even know what it is yet because we haven't seen it. Got all this loot. Defeated a target. So because we defeated him, there's more booty in the store. And there we go. Highest combo 22, rooms explored 48. There's a whole bunch of stats there. I think the money probably just goes towards our score. Because we have 4256 now, but as soon as I confirm, we don't have that anymore. Oh wow, we just unlocked everything here. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of stuff here. We'll go over it quickly. So we can play now. If we play, this time we'll just select the other bounty. There's nothing stopping us from doing this bounty again. We'll still get the 3,000 coins, but it's not going to be as difficult. Over here, it looks like we have 3 lives. We might have 3 lives to beat this guy, but we'll figure that out in the next episode. Challenges, we can do the daily and we can do the weekly. So that's pretty interesting. We might get into that. If this series pops off, like I'm hoping that it will, then we'll go and maybe do some daily stuff. So the lore we unlocked because we got a book. So the book taught us about Captain Tusky Grimble. Every spacefarer knows the tale of the shameful voyage of Tusky Grimble. He once betrayed the trust of his crew by cursing one of his own sailors to call forth a ghost ship, hoping to win the unholy prize within. His own crew rose up against him, and he was left stranded on the cursed vessel. He now floats, captain of a cursed vessel, hungry to grab any soul in his path. So, this is all the different lore pieces we can find. And it's sort of the, you know, the whole point of the game is to collect all this stuff, at least in my opinion. We also have relics, which I think are very similar. So we've beaten Bad Billy Bullseye, so we have his black eye. You can find all sorts of other shit that are just relics. They don't seem to... Oh, look at that. Beat him within 13 minutes. Alright, so we got achievements that we're going to want to go for. So there's achievements, and then there's relics. Relics, you can buy them from different ships that you're in. You'll find them kind of like a shop, and you can buy the relic, and it throws it in your stash. And that's about as much as I know about that. Maybe we'll learn more as we go on. The important thing here is the black market. So those golden skull chips that we have at the bottom there, the 10 of them, we can use them to buy permanent upgrades for our character. And we're definitely gonna be doing that. So because we've you know, advanced a little bit in the game, we've unlocked a bunch of stuff here. This one costs 20 to unlock. Unlock the hardcore version of Bad Billy Bullseye. Interesting. So we definitely want this. Sniper unlocks the aim lock ability. That is going to make our life so much easier in the next episode, and I'll display it then. Rewarded with gold for flawless battles against the pirate hordes. So this gives us gold. This gives us gold for ending battles swiftly. Oh, I see, okay. So we basically just get more gold in the game when we end battles swiftly or when we do it flawlessly. We already have the quick hook. The ones that are sort of colored in are the ones that we own already. Frost Globe is another sub-weapon we can use. And then we can buy these like perk upgrades, which is what I'm going to start with. So Perk Plus gives us 2 extra perk points, so we'll buy that. And this one also gives us 2 extra perk points, so we'll buy that. And then let's buy something different. Get more XP depending on your grade. I guess you don't really need a shaving kit, but it gives you more XP, I swear. You're pumping some iron, that gives you more XP. Well, let's get more XP. And we only have 2 left. I don't know if we can buy anything else. No. Oh, yeah. Shaving kit. Alright, well, buy the shaving kit, because whatever. We'll get experience bonuses because of having that stuff. And we'll continue to upgrade our character as we move on. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed. I assure you there will be failure in the future. I'm not flawless at this game, and I have never even attempted the next bounty, which I'm going to do right now. After I'm done recording this, I'm going to record the next episode, and hopefully you guys will enjoy it. And again, since this is episode 1 of a new series, definitely make sure to hit the like button if you like it, because it helps me understand, you know, how people respond to these new series. And if you really like it, if you want to see more, make sure you hit the like button, because the more likes I get, the more of those types of videos I make. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this video. Hope you enjoyed again, and we'll see you in the next one.